All right, welcome back to the show, guys. This week we're gonna be doing like an intro to metalcore, or getting people who don't like the genre or the style of music into it. Basically, no other way to say that. That's the way. That's what I'm going with.
That's fine. I mean, that was eloquent.
Yeah, I could be more eloquent, but I don't want to show it up, and then the next week I gotta like be eloquenter. I don't want to be eloquenter. So, all right.
All right.
I don't know. I would, like I said, like I'm gonna let you go first. Like, how do you usually get people into music? What do you usually do?
Well, this is the difficult part. It depends on who I'm going towards first. Because if they're a little more open to music, it's a little more simple for me to get them in. Like if they're what do they call it? Polyamorous now. I know it's such a cringe word, but I keep seeing it everywhere. And I'm like, just stop. But I'm going to use it right this second because it kind of fits what I'm trying to when I'm trying to get people in there is like if they're more open to listening to like rock, rap, and other stuff, it's easier. So like back in the day, Bring Me to the Horizon was so simple to get people into because especially when Simpa Turtle came out, because you could just put out one of those songs and all of a sudden like you've got such a great start to finish. Like
I agree.
so I got probably 3 or 4 people in that way. Like I put them in the door, and then I was like, okay, if you're gonna listen to Bring Me to the Horizon, you should try it. Depending, I was like, do you guys like the vocals? If you like the vocals, we can go a little heavier. Kingdom of Giants was still kind of doing their thing. I think Bleach was coming out around that time, so I was like, go listen to Kingdom of Giants. Like this is a really good segue into like other metalcore that's heavier. If they didn't like the vocals as much, I would push them a little more towards like bands like A Day to Remember, who had gotten softer over the years, which is fine. They still paved the path to a lot of the genre's roots.
If not, I would say the more recognizable metalcore, radio metalcore, if you would say. I don't know.
Right, and then
more people heard them.
It's funny you say radio metalcore because a band I heard when I came back to the States on the radio was a band I was not expecting, and that's I Prevail.
Okay.
I heard them on the radio and I was like, okay, so you guys are taking this. And I was like, if you listen to more of their stuff, you can transition quite well because they're kind of, I wouldn't say they're quite Kingdom of Giants and Bring Me to the Horizon heavy in most of their early stuff, because I think this is when they were first taken off. I hadn't really listened to them. I was like, okay, what is this different band on the radio? You guys feel rocky. And then when I listened to the other stuff, I'm like, okay, you guys are actually metal. Well, metalcore.
Which is funny you heard that on the radio. We clearly live in two different areas because we did not hear
Virginia.
Huh?
This was Virginia that they were playing this. And I was like, Virginia of all places is playing metal on the radio.
If you get out of boring ass Delaware and into Maryland, Virginia, it's like the whole world has their eye open. But here, now we got Nirvana and Sublime, Soundgarden, rinse and repeat.
Some Stained, a little bit too occasionally.
A little bit of Foo Fighters. Yeah, Stained. It's been a while. Yeah, it has been a while since you put out a good song.
Yeah. Okay. So, again, weird to hear some of that stuff on the radio, but in the UK, they play Bring Me the Horizon quite often. So it was actually really easy to segue people over there into the other metal scene. And they are really open to listening to metal over there, which is phenomenal because I can't tell you how many people I got into the deathcore scene over there.
Yeah.
And then if they don't like the heavier stuff, I struggle because like A Day to Remember is my lighter. If it was now, I could do like Catch Your Breath and maybe Currents. Some of their stuff is slower, and then some of their stuff is heavier. So like,
I mean,
it depends.
I like Currents, but I mean, for what we're talking about, it's not a bad idea. Yeah.
No, I think it's a healthy mix, and especially if they had an emo phase back in the day, and they did actually grow out of it, the lucky few. I think Currents is a great way back into that because they are so like a lot of their songs are very broody and sad and death and everything.
Yeah.
So like, you know what? It's a good like, it reminds you of Linkin Park and stuff like that if you were into that stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Other than that, like it gets, like I said, it gets a little tough because my metalcore list is small. Like I know a
Mm,
lot of bands, but it's hard to get people into certain stuff because of the vocal, the sounds of the vocals. Because you don't want bands like, I'm going to use a newer band, Half Me. His vocals are really high pitched,
hmm
and a lot of people don't like the sound of that. And then you don't want anyone who's like too low, which I can't think of anyone off the top of my head at the moment. But like it's like a fine line depending on what people like.
You mean like
So
a
it's
Source Prevail low?
yeah, but because there's a couple um like um what is that band's called? They Fit for King. Like his vocals are kind of lower.
Very true. Okay, yeah.
So like trying to get people into that, which that one's a little bit easier because again they have a lot
hmm
of cleans in like probably half their albums and some of the other albums. So like you can fit certain songs in there, and then it's
Yeah.
finding like the breakdowns that people might like if they like breakdowns, if they find out they do, or then there's other bands who just don't have breakdowns in general, like I guess Catch Your Breath wouldn't have too many breakdowns in most of their stuff. They're like I said, they're more rocky. And then that one band we saw with Electric Callboy, If Not For Me.
Oh, the first one? Yeah.
Yeah, so like I would
I
recommend
was
stuff
like,
like
Bury
that.
Tomorrow?
Huh?
No. I
No,
said,
Bird,
I mean, Bury Tomorrow? No, that's not a good. We shouldn't do that.
no,
We're not
Bury
trying to. We're trying
Tomorrow.
to bring them in, not scare them away.
Oh, yeah, and Bury Tomorrow, especially with their lyrics and their topics, it does get pretty heavy. But I mean, after that, my thing is I if I find the right path, I can get them into it. If they like a lot of rap, though, I start with certain bands that have that aspect to it, and I know there's not
hmm
many, but lately I've been trying to get people into Shush. I think
Oh, I've not.
I think I've shared him with you. He's like
You
this.
might have.
He gets a little heavier than metalcore, but
hmm
he's rappy, and I was like, it
Gotcha.
works because his vocals are clear enough, even though he's heavy, to get people interested. But he's not so bad, and his music isn't so hard to listen to that they're like, oh, this is a turn off, you know.
Yeah,
And then after
and that's
that, I
what you.
try to get him into heavier and heavier.
That is the thing. The wall that you're hitting when you're showing people bands is that, oh, this is too much, man. I don't know. And once they get the I don't know, then you're like, wait, don't go nowhere. Hold on, wait, I have an idea. Just humor me, and you're trying
Right.
to pull them back, and I've been there before. I have a cousin who loves 80s metal, and the newest stuff that he likes is Five Finger Death Punch. He doesn't like screaming at all,
Oh
and
man,
once
I
they
forgot
start
about that.
screaming, he is done. I've tried that. That is my one major failure in the music. I can't find any bands he will even give a chance to. Which, like you were saying, man, you kind of have to find someone who's willing to give it a chance, willing to listen.
Mhm.
So.
And that, like I said, that's the most difficult part because if they're not willing to listen to something like Bring Me the Horizon's older stuff
Mhm.
or Kingdom of Giants or Outline, like the list goes on, Memphis Mayfire, like stuff like that. Like once you get into that stuff, it's much easier to step forward. But if they only do
Mhm.
stuff like Catch Your Breath or If Not For Me or stuff that's lighter that doesn't have any hardcore vocals, I would say like those bands have a little bit, but not enough to like scare you away. Like Old Linkin Park, Old Linkin Park had some heavy vocals, but like
Yeah.
if they didn't
What
like
about
any of that either,
what about
it's
the word
tough.
alive?
Mm,
They don't. I mean, there's a good section of their music where they don't scream very much.
yeah, and that's the new frontman's doing. Like I love his vocals and everything, and honestly, you could probably get away vocal wise with him, but the rest of the music might be harder to like. Well, maybe not. Maybe they're not the worst band to also put up, especially
Well, they're
since
just
like the vocalist has done other projects. Like I played the game League of Legends, and he did a song for them.
okay. I
So
mean,
like
I don't play the game,
it
so.
pulled people in because his vocal range,
Mhm.
and then they found out that a lot of gamers are do enjoy some metal music, if not all of
Yeah,
us. And so like it was easy for people to transition. And they actually got a little bit bigger out of that, which was really nice to see.
that's pretty cool.
But like the plot in you, like he's got one of those voices, and that the way they do their music, like their new song that they just dropped, I can't remember the name of it. It's not my style. I actually hate the song, which sucks because I
Mhm.
love the plot and use new way of doing things. But I would say like that song in particular is also a good way to be like, here's some metal music, listen to it. If you enjoy this, try his vocal, like his other vocals, because like I like the
Yeah.
song Don't Look Away where he gets heavier, but
Mhm.
he does a lot of the cleans in it still. So like it's like, like I said, it's just people willing to get into it if they're willing to get into it.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. You want me to go?
Uh yeah, I
Or
mean,
you got
what's your
more?
take on some of it? Because I'm kind of curious because I know there's bands I'm missing, but you probably have a better list.
Well, it's not a better list necessarily. It's just a little bit different. Like we were talking about before the show. I've gotten maybe 5 or 6 people into it. Most recently is my cousin who likes a lot or liked a lot of rap,
Right.
and that was surprising how that went. But recently, I let um, 2 people hear "Antimatter" by Silent Planet. Okay, song starts so different from so much of their other music, right?
Mhm.
And it kicks in slowly, and then you can watch them in front of you, and if they have that face of "ooh, that sounded good," it's a hook right there. You got
Mhm.
it right. So also, in my opinion, while trying to get people into music, in most basic melodic metalcore, the intro to the song up to the chorus. Let them hear that. Don't play the whole fucking song for them. You play the whole song for them, that's what 3 to 5 minutes of their life. A, if they don't like it, that's torture to them. And B, it's all the way up to the chorus. It's like that lead up to the song, and then that chorus is supposed to hook people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if the chorus hooks people, and if they could listen to it up into the chorus, then you can give them more. So that's my opinion on that. So I usually get right to the chorus. I don't get to the second chorus or any of the breakdowns because it could be too much for them. I also, based on the person and their interests, I try to pick bands that would, I guess, they would be more akin to. So, like, if
Mhm.
they like rap, I'll do a new falling reverse, not old falling reverse.
Right.
You're not gonna get people in what what are good girls like bad guys and um I can't think of any other songs, but I can. The drug and me is you or whatever. You're not gonna get people in that. But also with rap, old style Attila, like
Yeah.
right around Rage and uh I don't know the third album. I can't remember any. Is it the third album? It's like third or fourth. Like the two Rage and then the 2 albums after that. I think were really big into that rap, but also metalcore sound. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's a little harsher, but it'll. I think it hits a little bit. He surprisingly, my cousin liked Hunt the Dinosaur, which is odd because they're hard as hell. You
I was
know?
gonna say I would not consider them metalcore. I would almost put them on the cusp of deathcore sound, like the way
Okay,
they
very
play.
true. Yeah, no, and I thought you were gonna say like not core at all, and I was like, what? No,
No,
yeah,
no, they're
but they're
definitely
not
core.
metalcore. Hey, they are not metalcore at all.
No,
But
no.
because he didn't like Phone and Verse so much, but liked Attila, I had to do Hunt the Dinosaur because Hunt the Dinosaur to me is a harsher Franz.
Okay, I can absolutely see that. Plus, Hunt the Dinosaurs kind of got this appeal to them with the way he does his vocals
Mm-hmm.
that it's like, okay, well now I got to know what else he can do. Like that's what interested me when I heard his first like really long rap scream thing that he did without breathing.
Yeah,
It sounded like I was like, what else can you do? Because now you've got me hooked, boy.
yeah.
The fuck is this?
I know other people would say like From Ashes to New, but
Hmm?
I'm not into them so much.
That's
So
fair.
to try to get someone into a band that I don't like is a little bit harder for me. But now me and Leg, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. We don't like country at all,
The worst.
at all. Yeah. There are worse genres, but of the big rap, rock, country, pop, maybe electronic, y'all can just sit over there. But if you're trying to get people into metalcore, I will say check out Lakeview. They did a song that's very country in the beginning, and it got a little bit more metal. And me and him, we got about a minute into it, and we were like, "This is too country for us." But it did have aspects of metalcore.
Yeah.
Anyone who likes pop music and just like your Taylor Swifts and all that stuff, I highly recommend anything from the Pop Goes Punk albums. They were so good. You had August Burns Red did Wrecking Ball.
Oh, good song.
We Came as Romans did Taylor Swift's whatever one of their songs. I can't remember the name of it. What is there was another band that did the Animal and Me, I think did some stuff.
Yeah,
But I didn't get big into them. Chugaboom. Do you know Chugaboom?
of course.
They did Seven Rings or something like that. I loved it, but
Oh, did
pe-
they?
people who like pop, and Beyonce and stuff, whatever genre that is, they kind of heard it and they kind of liked it. My sister at the time was into a little bit of that, but she also remembers Bullet for My Valentine, so she enjoyed it. So it was really good. What Was Me did that chick who did I Kissed a Girl, whatever her
Katy
song.
Perry's song.
Yeah, What Was Me did a Katy Perry song. So if you're into that, I will even say, and this is gonna coincide with the next one, is Electric Callboy just did Every Time We Touch, right? Because
Yeah, they
every
did.
time we touch,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's it's
Yeah,
poppy, and my mother who likes Michael Bublé, okay? But when she heard that, she's like, "Oh wait, you like this band?" I was like, "Just give it a second. Just give it a second." And it kicked in, and she didn't hate it, which is a big step for my mom.
right.
So, and then also the last one, if someone's really into electronic and like your dubstep and stuff, I would do a Band All Ships early on because they're very good. The Browning a little bit later when they get more used to that harsher sound.
Yeah,
Um, Sullivan King has done a lot. They did a song I think with Left to Suffer, I think, or I might be wrong on that.
I'm not familiar with
Um,
them.
they're actually if you can get into any like electronic sound ish, they did it. I wish I had looked that up previously or whatever, but I didn't.
So
But
you
yeah,
remind me of two things that now that I thought about it. A good band, a great stepping stone band is Our Last Night with their covers
okay. Oh,
because
our last night. Yeah, you're right.
they cover Disney, they cover regular pop songs, and then they have their own music, and all of it is never so hard that you're like, oh my god. But they also do
Mhm.
phenomenal. Like we saw them live back in May, and they did a
Mhm.
bunch of covers because it was a cover tour. And dude, like the covers are so much better than the original songs, and I liked a few of the original songs that they played, but like phenomenal stepping stone band, and they've got enough of a catalog because I think they've got like two or three, maybe even more than that, albums worth of cover songs. Like they've got whole
They
albums
definitely
of
have a
cover
lot.
songs. And
Yeah,
then there was a band back in the day. I don't think a lot of people remember them, but they were around the Asking Alexandria and the early Word Alive and the Ready Set and Mayday Parade era, like when
hmm
everyone was first starting, called Breathe Carolina.
I've heard. Yeah, heard of
So
that.
they were electronic, but one of them would occasionally, kind of like the Icy Stars does, like they would occasionally throw out some harder
Icy Stars
vocals.
is a
Icy Stars
great
is good. Back
electronic band.
before the screamer left, yeah.
Yeah, it's a different band now. So
And then there was another band, because I know like Moss of Flames did one or two Pop Goes Punk songs, which are really good, but again they're a little heavier. Well, it depends on what era because they started out like I would say lighter. They got into this era where I think they were trying to figure out what sound they wanted, and now they are so much heavier than I remember them being, which is great because I love them.
Yes, I just saw them live at Incarceration, and they were just amazing. So yeah, I agree with that.
And then of
Um,
course a big well known name in it is Greg Owen. I don't like him, but a lot of people can get into him. He's one of the originals in a lot of bands, actually.
um, so in my quest of getting people into the music, let's say you introduce someone to a band and they like, or let's say they don't like the song, you want to
Mhm.
pick out, like you were saying before, what don't they like? Do they not like the harshness, but they like the music? So then you have to go back and find a song that sounds similar to this in the music, but then not in the vocals. And like my cousin who liked Hunt the Dinosaur didn't like the double bass pedal. He said it feels like he's in a garage sale and he wants to punch someone in the face when he hears it. I don't know, but sure. Then so
Okay,
then
that's a new one.
trying to find a band that sounds like Hunt the Dinosaur without double bass. Have fun. You let me know.
Yeah, no.
Um, but people who don't like a lot of harsh vocals, you can always go back to old school metalcore, like your Bring Me Horizon. You can do like I still classify a Bullet as a early metalcore band, you know, and some of
Yeah.
their earlier stuff, not Scream Aim Fire because that's just gonna push people away. But like you could do some Kill Switch. I think it's not too harsh. Um, they redid Dio's song, and that can pull in people. You got to find what draws people into the genre, and then you
Mhm.
like hammer down on what they like, and then stay away from what they don't like. Like my
Mhm.
mom, or no, my girlfriend liked Lorna Shore until he started singing, and then
Okay.
but when she saw the music video for The Pain Remains, it
Right.
kept her in just enough so that when we were driving to Incarceration and I played them, she's like, "Hey, this is that band where
Mhm.
the guy's wife was dying." I was like, "Yeah, do you want me to turn it?" She's like, "No, I can see it in my mind. It's actually I like it." And
Mhm.
now we went and seen Brain of Sacrifice, and she liked it.
Good,
That's
because that's a great fucking
flipping the
band.
table over, you know. I mean, like, yeah, you know. But
Yeah.
you gotta find where people like try out a couple of different genres
Mhm.
and see what they like. Let's say they hate all four of them, but they hated this one the least, and then
Mhm.
pick out what they liked about it, you know, and go from there. And just make sure if you're bringing someone in, you understand that they don't like this and they're new to it. So don't get fucking frustrated if they don't like all of it because you haven't found something that they don't like, you know, that they do like. So
Right.
that's in my opinion. But getting my cousin into it was fun actually, and he was, you know, I sent him a song. He's like, I didn't like this, but I did like this. I was like, all right, man. Well, I won't bug you no more, you know. And he's like, nah, man, send me more. It was enough to pull him in, and that's. I was like, yes, sir. I'll be right here, sir. You know, and I'm sending him 4 videos. And I'm like, just listen to like the first 30 seconds, you know, whatever. But yeah,
Well, and I think that's
so
why it gets harder to go into the harder genres because like when you get into deathcore, sometimes they just start a song with blast beats. And most people
yeah,
who especially people who are not familiar with the general genre are like, what the fuck is going on? And it's just like for us, it's
yeah,
like, oh yeah, they're gonna start heavy and then they're gonna get real they're gonna get interesting at some point. Like that's what happens a lot. Cause there's a few bands where every time I hear the song, I'm like, why do you guys always have to start blast beating?
I
Like,
know.
I don't
There
need
was a
it.
couple songs where I didn't like a song in the beginning. I almost started to flip it, and then I'm like, okay, okay. It's like that where they're hitting the snare so fucking hard, but like 50 times. And I'm like, I can't get in that sound. I'm fucking sorry. I love deathcore, but I hate that fucking sound. So
And that's why there's a few bands like even I won't touch because I'm like, if you guys would just lose some of your drum or your guitar or your bass aspect, I would get into you more because you have an interesting enough sound further down the line. Or like
yeah,
a minute of your song is really fucking good, but the rest of it sounds like it's just fucking made in a blender. And I'm like, I don't want to listen to a blender. If I wanted to listen to
Yeah.
that, I would go listen to fucking what's that stupid grindcore bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I can't stand that. That's just noises on a chalkboard.
Yeah. So one thing that you did bring up that we wanted to touch on, it's also important if these people that you're getting into like social media of any kind, you should bring in some of them social media bands, like what is it? Sleep Token.
Oh fuck yeah, Sleep Token.
I do not like this band.
I
They
don't
look cool.
either.
They look super cool. So does Ghost. Ghost looks cool.
But
Then when they
sounds like
start
garbage.
playing, you're like, what the fuck? You don't, because I went to high school during new metal, that anything shock, like your Mudvaynes, your Slipknots, fuck,
Right.
your fucking Motograder. Do you know who Motograder is?
A little bit. I know of them. I don't listen to them though.
Hey, Ivan Moody, Five Finger Death Punch, his first fucking band.
Really?
Amazing band.
Okay.
He was called Ghost. He was painted all white and had like red fingerprints all over him and shit. Fucking amazing. They came out right before I went to boot camp. Amazing. So if you look cool, fuck Rob Zombie. Let's go back even further with like hair metal, like Twisted Sister and shit. You looked fucking weird, but cool. And then you
Right.
got Sleep Token, who looks cool as shit. And I'm waiting for it the whole song. Okay, maybe it's not this one. I'll flip it. I'm waiting for it, and I'm just not getting it. And now
Right.
Ghost, I'll say Sleep Token is better than Ghost in the essence that I can't even listen to Ghost at all. But
No.
they look cool as shit. I've seen them live, and I'm like, punch me in the face, the square hammer or something. Use your square hammer on my face. I don't know. Your
Hit me out.
square-sided circle hammer, whatever that song's called. I don't know what it's called, but I can't stand it.
It's so funny you mentioned Ghost too, because when I'm in Greensboro, the amount of Ghost shirts I see all the time, I'm like, why is there such a big following for this band? Like, I have tried. I've tried just a little bit to get into them, and I'm just like, I don't. There's no appeal. They sound like my ass creates better noises on the toilet than they do, and I like. At least, like you said, Sleep Token. Sleep Token, I'm becoming a little more tolerable with.
So
Like,
like
if it's
Sleep
on,
Token.
I can tolerate it. Versus,
So to
Ghost.
me, Sleep Token isn't a horrible band,
Right?
but to me, they do not fit into metalcore. They don't fit into deathcore. They don't belong in that area, in that genre. But for
Yeah.
some reason, like people, like they're not putting them. They're closer to in this moment in Five Finger Death Punch than they are to metalcore as a whole. Whatever genre that is, that me and my other friend cannot figure out what genre is Five Finger Death Punch. It's not post. It's not
Post hardcore.
It's not post grunge because
Okay.
that's 10 years. 10 years, 3 days grace. That's post grunge, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what genre that is, but I just know that like I'm waiting for something heavier because I'm into heavier music
Right.
the whole time when I'm listening to them.
Honestly, we might just have to call them like a heavy rock at this point, like because
Yeah,
rock has become a little more. I'm gonna use this word, and I hate using this word. I mean, it's a little more fluid these days. Like people classify certain things as rock, and I would never have classified them as rock. So
yeah,
like
I
now
agree.
I'm putting out this. I call it the heavy rock, where it's like I still put like Linkin Park as more of a post-hardcore than anything. Like in my opinion, with the if you count the instrumentals and the vocals, I
They
would
are
put them
new
in.
metal.
Okay, but I don't see them as that because I didn't grow up with I didn't grow up on the new metal scene as much. And when I
That hit me right here. It hit
that's
me right
fine.
here.
You can get hit
Right in
wherever.
the here.
But when you think about what classifies as metal and metalcore and stuff like that, they definitely they lean more towards that metalcore post-hardcore sound than they do new metal. If you
I don't think so.
listen to the if you well that's what I'm saying. For me, because if you go back and listen to the guitar riffs, the drums, and the vocals, it pushes you more towards the metal scene in that regard than new metal, in my opinion. because
we're
like
gonna have to we're gonna have to talk about this in a later date
we'll have a whole
because
debate about it. Okay,
we're gonna
that's
have
fine.
to because I almost got into it and I was like, hold on, man, this ain't what we're talking about.
No,
Let me take a step back. Oh, another band we want to mention though is Bad Omens. Now me and Leg both like were introduced to older Bad Omens, and I personally I do like them, but I like their older stuff way more. But to deny the fact that people would have heard their new stuff and that's why they got into them, I
right.
can't do that, you know. And that's one band that you could introduce to somebody, and they probably go, "Oh, I heard this on TikTok. I was flipping through, you know, and everything like that."
Well, and to hit on that point is like I know that their older, especially their second album, got really heavy for a little while. I
Mhm.
think that if you are open to the idea of listening to the genre, obviously go back to their other stuff because there's always a potential that they'll return to that stuff, especially with the
Mhm.
band being basically the original band.
Yeah,
Um, but
I would let them listen to their new stuff and then slowly let them hear some of their old stuff too, you know. But
right, well,
new
like
stuff first.
if they listen to the first that new album, The
Mhm.
Concrete Jungle, Artificial Suicide is fucking heavy for that album because it's just nonstop heaviness. Like
Yeah.
for the album, like in regards to that whole album, I would say that Artificial Suicide is a just nonstop, what I would consider true metalcore at its almost heaviest point,
Mhm.
without
Okay.
without without going into another genre almost completely. And then the
Yeah.
rest of their album I would do as true metalcore, where it's like you have all the elements of what has made metalcore to this day. And it's like there's a few songs that are perfect, as they've done from TikTok, that are perfect for getting a whole bunch of people into it. But that's why I always say, like, if you hear one song of theirs and you go, oh, I like them, I always say, give the rest of their music a try because you might like this iteration of them. But metal bands change album to album to album, unless you're, I'm going to say this and I'm going to get a lot of hate, but August Burns Red sounds the same from start to finish, from the beginning to the end.
Agreed. I like August Burns Red, but they did not change their sound, in my opinion.
They are the only band I have known that has been around as long as they have that has not changed at least enough elements of them to be like, that's not August Burns Red. If you're listening to him, you when they play and you hear his vocals, I can tell you it's him every single time, regardless of what album, regardless of what song. Because in my in and I, like I said, I've listened to them since their inception. They have sound the same since their inception, and I
I
don't know.
I can't disagree with that, and
I
that's
don't know what it
well,
is, but I'm okay with it because you're iconic in that sense. But like Bad Omens, they have
yeah,
three different sounding albums. So you can't say, "Oh, I like this iteration of them," and then just be like, "I like this band," which you can. I
yes,
mean, you could say that, but then you can't say, "Oh, I'm a metalhead." Like that doesn't sit well with
yeah.
me.
That's
And
like when
then
people hear like new Bring Me the Horizon, and they like I like Bring Me the Horizon. I'm like, that's that's not Bring Me the Horizon.
that's not
Like
them anymore.
you're gonna have to go back. I would say if you like Sepulternal, you can say you like the band, but you still have to recognize before Sepulternal. You know,
I'm of the I'm at the point where if you can't listen to uh was it Chelsea Smile
Chelsea Smile,
by them, and then listen to uh
Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever and then get to Sempiternal, if you can't listen to all of that and not and if you can't listen to it and be okay with all of it, you cannot say you like the band because that band that I swear to God, that band is one of the, I'm gonna call them the big five that got
They are in the Big Five.
the scene to where it is. And
Yep.
I kudos to Ollie and the rest of the band for pushing boundaries every single time they want to make music because I think they are
Mhm.
creating genre after genre after genre because like
They're
now we have
they're
this pop
they're always like
metalcore.
they're always like one step ahead, and
Yeah,
but it's not two steps ahead. If you're two steps ahead, you're fucked.
right.
One step ahead, and then they're doing it, and then you hear it, you don't like it, then you hear it more, and you're like, it's not bad, you know. But you know, yeah, I agree with you. I
But
think they're they helped pave the way. Then they were
right.
there when it was huge, and now that it's fucking moving like a wave, they're always at the front of that wave. You
Yeah,
know?
they're always creating something, and it's pulling a whole genre behind it and a whole movement, because there's always 5 or 6 or 10 bands that are following that particular time. Because like when they did um that Lemonade song that came out a few years ago, you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
vaguely.
It's gonna drive me nuts. Hold on. It's on their Amo.
Is it, yeah, I
So
listened to it a little. I am a little bit, not a lot. It hurt my soul.
so
Or
sugar, honey, iced tea, and medicine. Like,
medicine wasn't bad. I mean,
right.
it.
My favorite song off that whole album is In the Dark, because I feel like that brings back the more broody feel of the band. But like that that album has hundreds of millions of listens.
Yeah,
Whereas
I
if you go
definitely.
back to their old stuff, they don't have even a few million on some of them, and you're just like,
I
this.
I think the
This.
proper way to introduce people to Bring the Horizon is to let them hear what they're doing now, and then you
Right.
slowly go backwards. You know, and they do this, and then listen to a couple songs off, like of the one with the umbrella, and then
Uh,
with like
wow.
happy.
Why am I forgetting this? I should know this by now. That's the spirit.
That's a spirit, yeah. And then let them hear some of that, and then you let them hear Sepaternal, and then you're going back to like Diamonds Are Forever, and then Chelsea Smile, and then
Mhm.
there's another one on that album I can't think of. I can think of the music. They're the one, only other one with the music video on that album, but whatever.
The Come Down, isn't it?
I can't. I literally I can't remember the name of the song, but
I think it's the Come Down from the first album.
no, not that one. I'm thinking of the album right before Sepaternal, I think.
The album before Eternal. That's isn't that This Is Hell? There is a hell, believe me, I've seen it. There is a heaven, let's keep it a secret.
Yeah,
And I
it's off
think
that
the
one.
song from that is like Crucify Me, I want to say, or
Maybe
Don't
it might
Go.
be. They had
I
a
don't remember.
they had a music video for it. That's all I know. But
Yeah.
they, when you hear that, you could hear essences of what Sepaternal became. You know. But
Mhm.
either way, we're we're pushing back a little bit. But that's more or less definitely introduce people to songs they might have heard and then draw them in a little bit. I
Mhm.
also am a firm believer in while you're letting people, oh, they like this song, I will throw a deathcore song in there, like, and see if they like it. And if they
Mhm.
don't, why don't you like it? Oh, I don't like the screaming. So then you know right away they don't like the screams. So stay away hard from that, and
Mhm.
then go the polar opposite, or vice versa, But I will always throw a harder song in there because if they can say, oh, I liked the rhythm. It was really intense, man, but his screams aren't good. Or I didn't mind the screams so much, but like the music was so intense,
Mhm.
And then you can go off of that. But if they hate everything about it, then you're like, okay, that's that wall that we can't touch or go near that wall. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, but is that all you got? You anything else?
Well, I was just gonna say, to expand a little bit on that, is like whenever I give them a list of songs, I always basically kind of do like a chart where if they like these songs, there's 5 more songs that go to each one that are similar
Mm,
to, maybe because like I did it with my ex where when I gave her a song, I would give her a few others that would range from similar to harder, and then just keep
yeah.
doing that. And then like I wouldn't necessarily go straight to deathcore on some of them. Like I would like ease my like obviously deathcore has changed its sound with the fact that they're doing a lot more cleans in deathcore.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um so I would add a little more with the cleans in it, and then if they gave that a chance, then I would push something harder in that genre. So like there's I don't remember who it was. It might have been a Lorna Shore where he does a little more cleans than he normally does. I can't think of it off the top of my head because I know it's not the pain of existence.
I thought Left to Suffer had a cleaner song recently, haven't they?
I don't know. I should know, but I don't.
Yeah,
Unfortunately. But
it's okay.
basically, what I did is when I would build her a playlist, I would start light, and I would ease it in. I would put one deathcore song in, and then immediately switch it back to a lighter song, and then just keep doing that for her, so she could get into the tempo of it. And then when she was ready for a harder playlist, I would switch the playlist to something else. But like every time I built her a playlist to get her into the new music that I was, because I'm constantly searching. Whenever there's music for her to get into, I would do that. So like she also asked for one for work. So I was like, okay, well, these are all clean. So, you know, they don't have any of the cursing in it, but I will make it like an orchestra. Like it is going to have all these different acts where it's gonna pull you in, and occasionally like I'd throw a random dumb song in there, like a Japanese anime song. And then I
Yeah,
would
I can
smack
do
them in the
that.
face with like a Lorna Shore song, and then I would go right back to like a Dayseeker song, because Dayseeker is a great band that's
I
light that
agree.
will get you into the genre.
I also recommend not saying, "Hey, check out these other bands," and then just let them go. I think you should make a list
Oh yeah,
because if
I
you,
always.
yeah, because if you're like, "Do this," they're not going to do it. But if you give them a list, they can listen to it while they're doing whatever the fuck they do. I don't know, or riding in the car, cleaning. I don't know,
Well, that's why I always
making
ask if
dinner.
they want a playlist made, because I can quickly put one together and then send it to them, make it private, send it to them, let them listen to it, and then do whatever they
Yeah,
want. But
I
at
know.
least there they have the ability.
Yeah, I have one on mine, just of intro to the genre itself that I always keep handy and shit. So yeah,
Always good, isn't it?
yeah. All right, so we were definitely gonna say like if there's anybody has any other bands or songs that you would recommend to get people into the genre, like throw it out, comments and shit like that, and then we're moving right on to new bands or songs.
Who do you got this week? I'm curious.
Oh, I got the what is it? Uh, the Hall of Elders, that band.
Okay.
Scrolling through the ticketed talks and said, "Do you miss crabcore?" And I said, "As a matter of fact, sir, I do." And they were like, "Check out our band." And I listened to it, and it punched me right here, and then a little bit down here, and I was like, "Oh, I've missed this so much." It's like old Attack and Bless the Fall had a love child. This is amazing. I listened to like 10 other songs that right after I heard that, and I was like, this is what I needed in my life that I didn't know I forgot about, you know?
Yeah. I
So
mean, you can't go wrong with old crabcore, man. Like that shit just hits right every time.
maybe I'll wear my Attack shirt next week. It
I'm
has a
so
King Layer
jealous
from
of that.
Pokemon on it. It's great.
So
Crabcore.
jealous of it. But then again, I'm quite happy with this. Like,
Okay. So I'm wearing a Filth shirt because I walked in as Filth was singing at that show, and I was like, hey, look who it is, you know?
I
So I
waited
was.
I waited 3 months for this motherfucker. Because was it Shibari or I don't know how to say it exactly. They only produce so many of everything they put out, so they only do, I think, Electric Callboy, and then there was a couple others, because they only do like 3 or 4 bands at a time. They're about to do the 25th anniversary of Lamb of God, which looks
Oh,
sick, by
okay.
the way. It's red and black, and then the logos all glow in the dark. But $78, well worth it.
Hi.
Comfy as fuck. It's great. It's
Okay.
great, and it's a
That
one of a
hurts.
kind. I mean, I think they only do about 2,500 for each one.
Yeah, I mean, $70 for a hoodie. It's so
Trust me,
different.
it's extortionate, because I don't like paying money for shit like that. Like I won't even buy a $50 pair of shoes, but I saw
I'll buy
this
a
and I was like,
50
God
$60
damn.
hoodie. A $70 hoodie, it better be fucking amazing, which I will agree. That is an awesome hoodie.
Oh, dude, and it's so
Especially,
comfortable. So fucking
especially
comfortable.
for Electric Callboy.
I know.
It doesn't, it looks like Electric Callboy maybe older, like Crystal's time frame, you know, but yeah, it's still awesome.
It's
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
the smiley too.
Got the fuck boy on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
I know I recommended one song. This is just a pure recommendation in general. I don't want to throw it out there. I think that also if you're trying to get people into metalcore, toss in some Buried Alive. they have a guitar sound, and some of their songs get kind of harsh in a way like Blood Orange does,
Okay.
and it's just easy enough but not too crazy. And sometimes you can show a video and they'll find it amusing because of the way they do it. But his I watched what Nick Nocturnal watched one of his videos, and he goes, why did I spend the last 7 years playing guitar? Because the dude from Buried Alive is just brilliant on the guitar.
I was gonna add to that. I was gonna say like just his musical talent on the guitar would be enough to draw you in, especially when you can watch it. Because I started following him on Instagram, and every time he posts a video, I catch myself watching it 4 or 5 times over. Because I'm like,
Yeah,
how does a human's hands move like that?
nope,
Like it
that makes
doesn't
sense.
it
It's just
shouldn't make sense.
pushing a button and playing at the same, and my brain's like, wait, that's what that button does?
Well,
I
he's
didn't
so
know
quick
that.
with it too. Like there's
Yeah,
some movements you're like, I didn't even see him do that, and how's that noise coming from it? Like what the fuck?
no, yeah, but
No.
so who's the band you're recommending
All
or a
right.
song?
So this band's been around since COVID started. They're from Sweden. I They just dropped 2 new songs, and I've been listening to them on repeat. The band's called Alt ALLT.
Okay,
They've got
nope.
I would say a small following on Spotify. They already have about 120,000 monthly listeners, which is pretty good considering there are bands that I really enjoy that don't even have that much, which is surprising to me sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but phenomenal band. They are more like a Bury Tomorrow, but Swedish,
Okay,
or Aviana, if you know Aviana. Um,
heard of, heard of it. Yeah.
they're a great band. Like I said, I've been listening to a lot of them, and then there's a band I just found who looks like they've been around for a little while. I don't fully know. It looks like they've been around since maybe just before COVID started, maybe a little longer. They are a good like epitome of what a metalcore band should sound like, and they're called
Okay.
Unprocessed. But they already have a good following, so like probably a lot of people already know them. I just found them because they just put out a song called "Sacrifice Me," and I was just like, okay, okay. And then they got a little like it like you said, like it got to the chorus, it hooked me, and then he got heavier, and I was like, this is what I've been looking for, like in a metalcore song again. So it was really nice to catch them. But I recommend going to them. They've got, like I said, they've got a decent following, but Sacrifice Me just came out. It's a phenomenal single. I still have to listen to the rest of their stuff, but I already like what I hear, and I've only listened to 1 or 2 songs.
I'll definitely have to check them out myself because I definitely haven't heard of them. So, all right, and wrapping things up, concert shows. What do you got?
So I was gonna pick something else, but I saw it last week and I almost shit a brick. Paleface Swiss is doing an American tour, and I was like, I'm gonna buy a ticket immediately. So my ticket's being secured on Friday.
Awesome. I just went to the slaughter tour, or whatever, and I saw Brand of Sacrifice and 1056. I finally got to see Left to Suffer.
Great, isn't
Yeah,
he? Just amazing live.
amazing, dude. I couldn't believe it. And then, like I said, I walked in during filth, and my brain stopped working. I was telling my girl, I was like, "Oh my god, he's in filth! Holy shit!" I didn't even know they were there because on Songkick they weren't on there, but
Right.
on Ticketmaster they weren't on there either. But I even went up to him. I got a picture with him because I was like, "Dude, you weren't on the ticket." Like, I bought the ticket. Look, and I showed him. He's like, "Yeah, I haven't even heard of Songkick, and I used it because of Spotify, and it links up my playlist." But yeah, there was a couple other newer bands that were there. I didn't even know we were even playing. We got there an hour late, and from what I thought was an hour late, but in reality, like 5, 6 bands had already played. So
That's
whatever,
that's wild. I wish
it
they were
happened.
close enough for me to go to that because I was excited, but I think the closest I would have had to travel was like 8 hours. And I was like,
Yeah,
I don't have that
but
time.
for me, the next I am what later in September. I'm going to see that Bless the Fall show, which I mentioned last week. But the next show I'm interested in is the Signs of the Swarm show
Ooh,
with Kane Hill of Sulfur,
156
156
silence. Yeah.
Silence, and then Awaken Providence, and then Signs of the Swarm has a VIP or something where you meet the band and you play Pictionary with them.
Are you gonna do
Uh,
it?
I'm thinking about it, but then you also get to eat what is it, like crickets and shit with them. I
Dude,
said, I yeah, I want to do that. That sounds like a great idea. Play
you know,
Pictionary with a fucking band and then eat bugs with them. Sha!
fuck yeah. And then what we could do too is we could probably post it on one of our socials.
Yeah, I would definitely be posting that. Yeah.
That's oh man, that's wild. I don't know if I would go that far for me personally because I'm not a people person, but I think that'd be a sick time.
Well, shit. Speaking of not fanboying out and then shit, we were going to go get the record for Left to Suffer, I think it was, and my girl's like walking, and she's like, her you can see her body's moving this way,
Mhm.
but her brain is over here, and I'm like, babe, what are you doing? Stop! No, you're in the wrong line. And she's like, but, and I'm like, come on, let's get in line. What are you doing? Come on, we're butting people. We can't be getting in front of people. Come to find out, she's like, the band, and I'm like, I look over, I'm like, holy shit, it's Brand of Sacrifice. Oh my god. And like, yeah, I was trying to tell you that. I was like, oh, that's because your brain was, and then you was walking. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
have one
and
of the
then,
fanboy moments.
yeah, I was like, you guys are great at incarceration. I wanted to tell them about Blue Ridge, and then I have a tattoo of them right here, but it's on the elbow and it's slightly faded, and I felt like, hey, look, I got your tattoo right here,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's faded. Yeah, like
You're
I wanted.
Canadian, so you don't get a prime spot.
Yeah. I saw Miss May years back, and I wanted to. He was just talking to a single guy, and I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to be like, "I got your tattoo right here," but we ran out of time and we couldn't fill it in, so I didn't meet him. Yeah.
Such a shitty way not to meet somebody.
I got 52 bands tattooed on me, and I can't say I got your band. No, but I did get to see While She Sleeps, and then they were talking about We Came as Romans, and I said, "Oh, We Came as Romans." So yeah, they're right in here somewhere.
There's
They're in
somewhere.
here somewhere. Where? Oh, right there. They're right there. Yeah. So he was like, "Oh wow, you got that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, woohoo! I'm cool for 5 minutes."
I'm cool for
So I
I
put
love
my
it.
body paint on for a show, and then I still can't talk to the chick from Deadlands because why? She don't want to talk to me. Now she's just trying to have a good time.
Just try to have a good time.
Yeah.
Oh
All
man.
right. Well, that's it for this week. Try to be back in a week. I think is what we're trying to do, and yeah.
Once a week, yep. And then I'm gonna flood everybody with these ones eventually.
All right. Well, we'll see you all next week.
Bye.